Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum at the Institute of Politics. My name is Angelina Lee and I'm a first year studying history and economics at the college, and I'm a member of the JFK Jr. Forum Committee. Before we begin, please note the exit doors, which are located on both the park side and the JFK Street side of the forum. In the event of emergency, walk to the exit closest to you and congregate in the JFK Park. Please also take a moment now to silence your cell phones and join me in welcoming Harvard College undergraduate Matteo Cagliaro.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure tonight to welcome you all to the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum at the Harvard Institute of Politics. My name is Matteo Cagliaro. I'm a current sophomore at the college studying computer science, and I am a member of the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum Student Committee. We have undoubtedly all noticed how quickly our lives have been increasing in pace, whether as students struggling to submit assignments before midnight, or simply as people in society having a longer to-do list than the year before, but the same amount of time to try and complete it. Somehow, things have gotten faster. As a clear consequence of this, it has become increasingly difficult to find time to spend alone and in silence. It has been more difficult to find time that we can spend free of distractions and focused only on our own well-being. In a society changing on a large scale, as rapidly as today's, having an anchor to be able to hold on to when things start getting out of control is fundamental to our happiness. It is fundamental to our effectiveness as leaders in our personal as well as our professional lives. But while we are so used to looking forward for the solution to all of our problems, what can we learn from the past? What exactly can we learn if we try to look backwards in time and learn from history? An even bigger question, how can we reconcile ancient wisdom with contemporary science? With this question in mind, it is my honor to introduce you to our speakers for the evening. Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar is a world-renowned spiritual leader, humanitarian, and founder of the Art of Living Foundation. Known for his teachings on inner peace, meditation, and service, he has inspired millions around the globe to lead more meaningful lives. Tonight, we have the opportunity to learn more about him and about how we can enhance our leadership skills through well-being. Moderating this discussion, we have Dr. Robert Waldinger, a psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and professor at Harvard Medical School. He directs the Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the world's largest and longest studies on happiness, and is widely known for his insights into what truly makes a meaningful life. Now, before we welcome our guest to the stage, we will enjoy a brief introductory video.
In 2023, Gurudev guided over 1.1 million people in the largest group meditation in United States history. But where does this story start? For that, let's travel back in time and space to a small village in South India and a boy named Ravi Shankar. A boy often found deep in meditation. A boy who told friends that, "I have family everywhere." Even as a youth, Gurudev would spend time in silence. After 10 days of silence and meditation in Shimoga, he emerged with a discovery, a new breathing practice which he named Sudarshan Kriya, or Sky. Since then, Sky has been the subject of over 100 scientific studies, including research at Yale and Stanford. Through Sky, people have released stress and anxiety, let go of the past, and found greater health and happiness. And soon, word spread in India and beyond. Groups grew and people invited him to teach from Halifax to Argentina and from Oslo to Mongolia. In this way, the art of living began. Now, Gurudev's teachings have reached over 180 countries, touching the lives of over 800 million people. Gurudev started the service projects by taking responsibility for an abandoned school that had no funds. Now, his schools and programs teach over 120,000 students each year.
In my past times, I used to hit people and do violent stuff, but now I just don't. I leave it behind.
Soon, he started work in prisons to break the cycle of violence.
Oh, we can't get under CJ's skin anymore. He's doing his meditation now. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
The movement grew, taking on mental well-being on college campuses, offering support with trauma relief for veterans and their families. Volunteers are building bridges and communities. They're rejuvenating rivers, providing support amid disaster, and transforming terrorists. It's become one of Earth's biggest volunteer movements, even negotiating for peace at the highest levels. In Colombia, after 52 years of civil war and bloodshed, Gurudev's mediation brought a shocking shift. Guerrilla fighters embraced nonviolence and a ceasefire. For his contribution to humanity, countries and institutions have presented Gurudev with their highest honors. When asked about the motto of the art of living, Gurudev often says it's making life a celebration. Gurudev started the World Culture Festival in 2006, turning inner peace and connection into a celebration of the human spirit. All of this an expression of his vision that we are one world family.
Hi, everybody.
Well, so good to be with you again. What a pleasure.
Yes, Bob.
Yes.
So nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
You're exuberating happiness.
and you are too. So now we have to do the same for everybody here.
Yeah.
Let me give a little bit of a preview of how the evening will go, we hope. We'll spend some time talking, and then Gurudev is going to lead us in a meditation, a guided meditation. And then after that, we'll have some question and answer. And I asked Aaron, who is the mastermind of these Institute of Politics events, well, how do these events usually go? And he said, we've never done a meditation in this space. So this is a radical event. I want you all to know that you're going to be participating in a groundbreaking event here. And I thought about us being in the Institute of Politics, and I'm pretty sure that a spiritual master with millions of followers and a psychiatrist who happens to be a Zen priest, that those kinds of people don't usually sit in these chairs. That we all, all of us want to make a difference in the world. And I think most of us come here because we care about the world and we want to do things that matter. So then the question is, how does spiritual transformation have anything to do with what goes on in the world? It may seem obvious, but to me it did not seem obvious until I started doing my Zen practice. And I would love to get your thoughts about that, about how the individual and the social, the political, are connected.
Compassion is part of any spiritual practice. You agree with me, no? You need someone to be compassionate on.
Yes.
And the society needs your compassion all the more today. Right? So, spiritual practice is not just removing yourself from the society. Of course, for a short period of time, it's like you stop your car at the gas station, you turn it off so that you can fill it up. Once your car is full, you don't stay there, you drive.
Yes.
Right? And you can't fill your car while you are driving.
That's right.
Not so far. Maybe you will find some technology that would come out from here. So they're complementary, I would say. Spiritual power or energy is needed to boost the morale of a person and bring them the inner strength, much needed inner strength.
Yeah.
And intuitive ability when you are engaged in society to serve people.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think?
Well, in my Zen practice, we take a vow. Every time we're together, we take a vow to save all beings.
Yeah.
And often that feels like we're supposed to just go out there and save everybody. But the teaching is that doesn't mean saving all beings except for one. It means all beings.
All beings.
So you have to stop and refuel, right? Or you are not of any use to anyone. In my field, in medicine, there's a great deal of burnout because many people enter the field of medicine because they want to help,
Want to serve?
but the needs are so enormous, and we are very bad at taking care of ourselves, myself included. I have had to work very hard to learn to take care of myself. You have devoted your life to helping people learn these skills, taking care of themselves. And I imagine you have to do that as well, right?
Yeah. We are in the same boat.
Yes.
Sometimes I too forget, running around. But meditation is something that, that keeps you really fit and
Yes.
keeps you going.
Yes, yes. And my understanding is that the Sky program is very targeted to forms of meditation that have particularly healing effects on the body. Is that
And mind.
And mind. Is that something you could say more about for all of us?
There is a rhythm in the nature. There is seasons, they come in time, or not of time, the global warming. So there is a cycle in the nature. And similarly, there is a rhythm in the body. You feel sleepy, you feel hungry, you feel nature, you go to nature calls. And there is a rhythm in our breath also, which we have failed to notice most of the time. And then there is a rhythm in our emotions and thought patterns as well. At different times, with our mind is very different. If you see morning 6 o'clock how you feel and evening 6 the way you feel, there's a big difference.
Yes.
So the Sky practice is bringing rhythm, aligning all the different rhythms of our system, body, mind, and breath. And just for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it puts you on a platform where you can say, really, vibrant and jubilant.
Mm-hmm. And teaching people to be attuned to those rhythms.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things that we're drawn away from. I mean, we're so regimented from the time we're very small. In school we have to sit still and behave and not say anything, and we push away those signals about what our bodily rhythms are, what the rhythms of the mind are, because we learn to focus on what's outside of us, about what's being expected of us, right? And eventually, I think many of us emerge without the sense of what our own inner rhythms are.
Yeah.
And you're returning people to that awareness.
Yeah, see, neither at home nor in school, we learn how to manage our emotions. Yeah. Nobody teaches you. Sermons are given. Don't get angry, don't get upset, you be strong. But how to be strong? Relax, we say, how to be relaxed, how to relax. We have forgotten.
Yeah.
And we are so tense, someone says, relax, you feel even more irritated, right? And so that's where taking recourse to the breath helps us to be more centered, more calm, and get rid of all those stresses that we hold on.
Yeah. And what we find is that when we teach these skills to children, they do so much better. So they have these programs, social and emotional learning programs, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And it's a huge umbrella, many different kinds of programs, but it's the kinds of skills you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sitting, calming the self, paying attention to the breath, being focused. And what they find is that when they do meta-analyses of like 90,000 children who've had these programs in school, they don't get into trouble in school. They're happier in school. They get along better with other children. They don't get kicked out of school with anywhere near the frequency. There's less substance abuse. All of these things. And so what we find is when we look at it scientifically across big populations of people, these skills are enormously impactful for children's well-being.
Yes, we have seen this happening around the globe. Yeah. And then they no longer are, emotional wreck, or they're able to be more centered. They're no longer impulsive as in their behavior. Another thing is, it brings up intuitive ability. Intuition.
Yes.
They become more intuitive.
Yeah.
And more innovative. And, the mind becomes so fresh that you start exploring how you can, do things in other ways.
Right, because they have the quiet and the space to listen to intuition.
Correct.
And which is, when there's so much chatter in the world, and of course we're all worried about that, particularly now with media and all of us having 2 and 3 screens open at once, that we don't have time or space to hear the intuitions that arise, the wisdom that arises, right?
Right. I can't agree less.
Yeah.
It's really the way.
Yeah. There's a program some of you may know in mental health called dialectical behavior therapy, and it's a very effective program. And one of the things that it teaches people to listen to, people who have storms of emotion that they can't control, it teaches them to listen to what we call wise mind. The teaching is all of us have within us wise mind, but we often don't make space to hear it.
Correct.
And the question is, how do we make that space? And I expect many people here want to know the answer to that question. I mean, how do you structure these powerful programs to help people make the space for wisdom to emerge?
See, first of all, we need to know the current situation that we are in. There are a number of techniques, in the books and the ancient, from the wisdom, but not all of them are suitable for the modern conditions.
Right.
Because, there are meditations that you have to sit for an hour together, one for an hour or 2 hours and 3 hours too. But today's busy world, no one can afford to do that. I mean, people who, unless they dedicate their life only for that purpose. So, keeping in mind today's busy schedule and all the pressure and responsibility that one has, so we need something very quick and short. And we found that breath is the easiest thing. If you say meditate, people say, I don't have time to meditate. But if you say, come on, just breathe, No one can say, I don't have time to breathe. Because then they won't be here. Nobody can talk to them.
That's it.
So, catching that point, through the breath, it's easy to help people to go deep into themselves.
Yeah.
And it's a sure way also. It's a sure way to calm the mind quickly. See, in the ancient wisdom, they had 2 things they said. One is to see there is misery in life. This is what the Wellbeing Buddhism comes up with. Right. It's so obvious. You see there is miserable, people are miserable around everywhere, here, there. And if you look into yourself, you also feel that loneliness or this and that and that. These issues. So knowing this misery and wanting to get away from the misery is a natural tendency in everybody. So this is one way of looking at it. The other side is, look at the nature, there is so much joy. Completely the opposite way to look at it. Wake up and see, the nature is full of beauty. Yeah. Enjoy the beauty in nature, the bird chirping and the cherry blossom out there and the waves and the babies, playing. So looking at this, also you get into meditation. And so taking time to improve our perception and our expression is very essential to be successful in anything. You see, whether it's business or science or commerce or arts. And these meditation techniques help you to improve your perception, your observation, and your expression also.
You know, and noticing the beauty that's all around us is something that our brains did not evolve to do. So many of you may know this, but our brains actually evolved to pay more attention to what's wrong, to pay more attention to what's out there that might harm us. And that's a great thing for evolution. You know, like you're more likely to pass on your genes if you pay attention to that tiger over there that might be hungry. But it's a terrible way to be happy, right? So our minds actually do not pay attention. We don't pay as much attention to what is going well. Think about all that's going well in this moment. I mean, I get to speak with you, Gurudev. That's a great thing, right? It's the air is warm. You know, we're in a nice space. It's a lovely group of people. All the things that are not wrong. But I bet many of you have been sitting there, some of you ruminating about all the things that are wrong, because we all have that in our lives. It's just that our minds are skewed in that direction. And I think meditation of all sorts can be a corrective to that bias
It's the
of the
audience.
mind. Yeah.
We were not like that when we were babies.
No.
We were upset when our basic needs were met. We were happy. You know, we were hungry. We were crying. The moment our hunger and thirst is quenched, we were happy. We're happy looking at our own fingers, watching whatever it is around us. So I think that change is what all the wisdoms are geared at.
Yes. I have a new grandson. He's 2 weeks old. And so I've been spending time with him. And he is exactly as you say. You know, when he's hungry, he cries, and then he's just the Buddha of contentment when he's not hungry. And I just stare at him. It's just wonderful. But we could all be that. We can all find that.
Yeah. You know, I often say, if you observe a baby from the age of 3 months to 3 years, you don't need a yoga teacher. They teach you perfect yoga. Well, breathing, meditative mind, everything is embedded in us. That's why I say this is not something that is not natural to any human being.
Yeah.
See? If you observe the baby sleeps like this, you know, in a certain pose, in a mudra pose, and then when they breathe also, they breathe more through their belly. So yoga means coming back to your innocent self.
Yeah. Let me ask, we saw in the video about your work in helping to resolve conflicts. And so you somehow managed to find ways to bring these perspectives, these powerful perspectives, to people who are in agony because they have felt wronged, they have been attacking each other, they have been harmed, right? How does one bring this, the joy and the peace of the newborn, into negotiating terrible conflicts that have been going on for years?
You know, Bob, it's not what we speak. I think we convey more through our vibrations than through our words.
Yes.
You know, it could be the same thing that, but when you say it from the heart, when you know, when they know that you care for them, they listen to you more. Yeah.
but also somehow find their way to listening to each other in a different way.
Yeah. You know, basically, no individual has come to this planet as a terrorist or a bad guy, you know. It's due to circumstances and all. I often say that inside every culprit, there is a victim crying for help.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if you heal the victim, culprit disappears.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what I found with these people, you know. We had in Denmark, like this, the inner city gang members who take the gun and shoot around. These people, when they started meditating, learning the breathing, first we tell them, look, you need strength, right? To fight anything, to fight injustice, you need strength. So here is something that gives you strength.
Yes.
So they just start doing, they suddenly realize, wow, you know, something better I can do with my life.
Absolutely. There's a wonderful documentary, if you can find it, called The Dhamma Brothers, Dhamma, and it's about this. It's about meditation teachers going into a maximum security prison. I think it was in Alabama. And they did a 10-day retreat within the prison for people who had committed murders, people who had done horrible things.
Yes.
And you see these people melt when they sit and they can just be with themselves and with each other.
Yeah.
And they emerge so different.
Very different. We have done that. There is one video on the Danish prison. We have done the work in about 6,000 gang members of Denmark. They, eschewed the path of violence, and then they came to the mainstream. The same people are now doing social service. They're organizing camps, medical camps, and that it's so heartwarming to see that. We have done the same work also in many African countries. And here in Argentina, when I went to the Argentinian, the prison there, the Chief Justice of Argentina said, "May I also come with you?" He said, "I would like to see, because the change I have seen in this incarcerated people is mind-blowing." So, it's just like shedding those the heavy load that they were carrying on them. And then you find that they are all beautiful people, innocent people.
And this is where the personal transformation then has tremendous ripple effect.
Ripple effect.
So we're at Harvard, in case you haven't noticed, and many of us, I've spent my whole career at Harvard. I'm proud and embarrassed to say, and at Harvard we pride ourselves on achievement, right? But one of the difficulties, I think certainly for me, and perhaps for some of you, is that achievement can sometimes feel antithetical to this kind of self-development and self-realization that we're talking about. Because it's not about grabbing something out there. It's not about reaching a goal out there. It's about a kind of work that has no goal. It's an ongoing process, right? In what ways do you help people think about this tension between wanting to accomplish in the world and tending to the self, developing the self?
I would say, you can have a goal for yourself. You want to be a professor, you want to be a business executive, whatever. That's okay. But that's only one part of your life. Your life is much more than your degree, your profession. You are basically a beautiful human being. If you can recognize that aspect of yours and connectivity of you with the whole world, with the nature, with people around you, I think that gives a a bigger dimension to your life as such, And we can even think like this. Okay, you have one goal for yourself. And what is that you want for the world? Where you want the world to go? Yeah. We are all going to be here for a short period of time. What type of society you would like to leave behind? Mm-hmm. If we can think on these lines, then I think the world becomes a better place.
Yeah.
Just imagine if everyone thinks about environment, everyone thinks about cleanliness, everyone thinks about health and equal rights to everybody. Society will be much different.
Yes.
So that social responsibility is with everyone. Yeah. And it in no way comes as an obstruction for your personal ambitions and goals.
Right. It reminds me, in our longitudinal study, we followed 724 families over 86 years. It's the longest study of the same people ever done. And when our first generation got to be 80 years old, we asked them to look back and we said, what are you proudest of? And we had some very accomplished people, a president of the United States, national newspaper editors, bankers, but everybody to a person said that what they were proudest of was something to do with who they took care of and who they helped. So it was never, I got this award. It was, I was a good boss. I was a good partner. I was a good parent. I was a good friend, right? And the thing that they regretted the most was not spending enough time with the people they cared about.
There are two types of happiness. One is the one that you get when you get something.
Yeah.
This is from childhood. You got a birthday gift, you got a Christmas gift, and you got something, and you became very happy. I think, but we should not just stay there. Getting a degree, getting something is, okay, good, you are happy about it. But there is a happiness that one can get by giving it back to society. Like the happiness of the grandmother, when you go home and she makes many different type of food. Her joy is in just feeding you, right? So the joy in giving back to society is much bigger, much gratifying, and than the one getting.
And the mind plays tricks on us because it can look like, if I give to you, then I lose. If you win, then I lose. If I win, you lose. This kind of zero-sum thinking that the mind gets caught in so routinely, right? Mm-hmm. But what you're saying is that people can discover that actually it's much more nourishing and much more enjoyable to give.
The joy in giving is a mature joy. Happiness. Actually, no one can be happy in an isolated way. Because if one person is unhappy in a family, they spread that thing to everybody in the family, right? There's something, though you may say, oh, well, someone is unhappy, it just bothers somewhere inside because your connectivity is connected. And so it is essential that even meditation or the practices, not enough you just do it for yourself. You have to see that other members of your family also have that poise of mind, have the patience, have that caring and compassionate outlook towards life. See, it's because compassion cannot be in one isolated place. It has to spread like fractions.
Right. And it starts with compassion for the self.
Yeah, for self.
When you said that we are all beautiful human beings, What about those of us who at times or maybe all the time don't see that beauty? Because the Dalai Lama has said that one of the things that strikes him about being in the West is that problems with self-esteem are so much more common than he sees where he lives in his community. And I think what we talk about is compassion needing to flow from self-compassion, from kindness toward the self. And that is a real challenge, to cultivate kindness toward the self when it doesn't come naturally.
Meditation will help.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
It just clears all those
does.
stuff of low self-esteem, anger towards oneself, hanging on to the past, grief, and believe me, it just washes it all away in one stroke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like we're selling something and yet it's completely free, right? There's no commodity being sold here. It is absolutely free.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because you come from a different tradition than my meditation tradition, and yet what we're describing is the same. The same.
When His Holiness Dalai Lama visited our place several times, he always said, I feel I have come to my mother's place.
Yes.
He would pull my beard and say, I think I have come to my mother's place. The ancient Vedic wisdom is the mother of our whole philosophy. He would say that. So the yoga philosophy, the Sanatan philosophy has been there ancient times. And Lord Buddha brought it up into, freed it from many other, reformed it in many, many ways at the time.
Yes. Well, speaking of meditation, would you be willing to do something radical in this space, which is to lead us into meditation?
You're all ready for it?
Well, yes. And for those of you who are not accustomed to doing meditations, I invite you just to give yourself over to this. Just try it. You never have to try it again, but just let yourself really enter into this practice with Gurudev.
Now, how many of you have done some or other form of meditation? Can you raise your hand?
Wow.
Oh, okay. I should ask the question the other way around. How many of you have never done any meditation? Please raise your hand. 1, 2. Yeah, okay. So, for your benefit, I would like to mention, meditation is not something you do with effort. There are three things in meditation that would help us go deep in meditation. Number 1 is, for the next 10 minutes or so, we do nothing. We do nothing for 10 minutes. I'll give some instructions. You don't have to listen to all of them or do anything about it. Just follow as much as you can. Okay? So, you don't have to listen to me intently. Oh, what did you say? Did I miss something? No, you don't miss anything, even if you miss.
Yeah.
So, don't have to listen to me intently, because if you listen intently, you can't relax. Like you listen to your music. So that's the first thing. We do nothing. Second is, you want nothing for next 10 minutes. If I say, oh, I want to have a glass of water or this and that, this wanting to have something will keep us in an active state of mind. It will not let you relax. So for 10 minutes, can you say, I want nothing? Yes. Only for 10 minutes. Afterwards, you can take whatever you want. Okay. Then the third thing is, I am nothing. It appears to be a little hard, but it's not so. See, if you think you are very intelligent, forget about meditation, it won't happen to you. If you think you are stupid, then also meditation cannot happen. So, we have to keep aside all the labels that we put on ourselves. I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm intelligent, I'm stupid. All that, let's keep it aside for 10 minutes. So, I am nothing, I do nothing, and I want nothing. These three, aphorisms would help us. You don't have to repeat this again. Oh, I am nothing, I am nothing, I am nothing. No. Okay? So, we'll begin with synchronizing our eye movement and our breath. We all breathe, we all blink. Everyone blinks. Even when you know the answer, you can blink. So, synchronizing our eye movement with the breath, first thing. And we'll do this few minutes. And then I'll give simple instructions, which, as I said, you don't have to listen to it intently. So let's sit comfortably, easily. Now let's breathe out and close your eyes. Now, as we breathe in, gently open your eyes. Hold the breath. Breath in, eyes are open. And you breathe out and gently bring your eyes, close your eyes. And now breath is out and eyes are closed. Let's synchronize the eye movement with the breath. Another 5 such breaths we will take. Breathe in, half breath in, eyes are half open. Breath is fully in and eyes are fully open. And then breathe out. Again, let's breathe in. Fill your lungs with the breath, eyes fully open, and breathe out and eyes closed. Once again. Notice as you synchronizing your eye movement with the breath, the entropy is going down and mind is already getting calmer. Again, breathe in. And as you breathe out, close your eyes. One last time. Let's keep our eyes closed and body relaxed. Become aware of the weight of your body and whatever that is. 150 pounds, 130 pounds. Just remember the weight of your body. We came into this planet weighing just 3 kilos or 5 pounds. And today we weigh 130, 140 pounds. Now let us realize the chair we are sitting is carrying the weight of our body. Our body has 30 trillion cells, and it's a great gift to us. The most precious gift to us is our body. Let us honor our own body and know that this is perishable too. Another 20, 30, 40 years later, this body will get back to the soil that we are on. Let's honor our own body. Let's take our attention to our feet. Relax your feet. And then gently come up to calf muscle. Let's relax all the muscles. Then let us feel our knees and take our attention to our thighs, hips. Let's take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, relax your shoulders, arms. Incoming breath energizes the body, and outgoing breath brings relaxation. Let us become familiar with this phenomenon. It's happening all the time. Another deep breath in, relax the shoulders, face, the whole body. Honor your own body. Let's move to the second dimension, the breath. It's the breath that is keeping us alive, and our whole body is involved in this process. Let's take a deep breath in, hold the breath, and breathe out and relax more. Become aware of air all around you and inside of you. Like fish in the water, we are in air. Let's breathe in and breathe out. And observe the natural rhythm of the breath. Let's move on to the third dimension, the mind. Our body is like the wick of a candle. Mind is like the glow all around it. Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, just embrace them all. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. And become aware of the empty space above the head. Just become aware of the space up to the ceiling of this hall. As the body relaxes, the mind expands, and vice versa. Just relax and let go. Next couple of minutes, there's nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just relax and let go. Let go of any effort you must be putting. You are peace. You are peace. Relax more and more. Let's keep a big smile on our face and breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. Allow the smile to percolate through the whole body. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You are peace. You are peace. Slowly and gradually, may become aware of body and surroundings. Let's take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you may gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Thank you on behalf of everyone.
Was it good? Did you all enjoy the meditation there in the back?
Yeah.
It's a short one. You know, I made a free app, Sattva. In that I put number of this meditation. People can download, just sit back, relax, and you can just enjoy meditation.
The app is Sattva.
Sattva, S-A-T-T-A-V, okay, Sattva. And free app, and about 300 meditations are there, all different. So you can enjoy that, yeah.
Well, if anyone is able to use their left brain now after this, we have time for a few questions. There are 4 microphones, 2 on the floor on each side and 2 up above. So just make your way to one of the microphones. Please.
Hi, I'm Charlene. Thank you for a lovely meditation. So, myself, like probably most of us, have many decisions to make every day, especially with so many options in life. And I have found myself lately utilizing my meditation as kind of my thinking process to make aligned decisions. However, it's not quite meditation anymore. It's more just contemplative thinking, which is valuable. So my question for you, and I've trained in sky meditation and have many tools, but I have found myself not really meditating lately because I have lots of big life decisions to make. And so my curiosity is how to align and connect to what is the most true aligned decisions in vocation and in life, and how to kind of maybe pair a particular type of practice, maybe after meditation, for that process of decision making to direct one's life.
So the question is how to make a right decision. Is that what your question is?
Yes,
when
those true ones.
There is confusion in the mind. You have too many choices. Mm-hmm. How do you choose the right thing, right?
Yes.
Now, is this the first time you are going through this challenge?
Say that again?
Is this the first time you are going through this challenge?
No, I think this is almost a daily
So
practice.
You have... Listen, now you have gone through this many a times, right?
Yes.
How did you overcome them all?
Well,
you have overcome them all, right?
I have, yes.
So, relax. You will overcome this also, number 1. Mm-hmm. Seeing life from a broader perspective will help, number 1. Second is, say to yourself, yeah, I will take up the challenge. I'll make it happen. Mm-hmm. Invoke the valor inside of you. Okay? It's when your energy is down, when your valor is down, that's when you have a lot of self-doubt. Got it? Here you should do more of Bhastrika, more pranayama. That'll bring up the valor. The third thing is, know that there is only the best will happen to you. You should put this intention. You know, whatever may be the situation, only the best will happen to me.
So
Got
be
it?
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone over there?
Yeah. Jai Gurudev, thank you so much for that beautiful conversation and that divine meditation. My name is Farah Shroff, and I wanted to ask you about the question of the times that we're living in right now. I wanted to ask a question about the collectivity as well as the individual self, and where you would guide people in times of great destruction, a tremendous time of no peace outside themselves. And how can we as collective beings find some joy and peace even in those times, as well as individual beings?
Yeah, you are right. When there is so much chaos, you can't talk about happiness. All that you had to talk now is having the strength to overcome the tough time that we face through. I know that it's a phase in life. We'll be able to get over it. That confidence will take us a long way. What do you think, Bob?
Well, 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said that the world was burning and that it always is burning. It feels like this is different. It does to me, right? And I so resonate with your question. But I think what you're saying is right, that we live on and we live through. And that's something that we hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we stop running behind happiness, half is done. Happiness will come running after us.
Yes.
Many times we keep running behind comfort and happiness. That's our main problem. If you just sit back and relax and know you will get the best, and you will see that's how things will start up.
There's a bumper sticker I like. It says, "Now that I've given up hope, I feel much better." I think there's someone up there. Is it?
Yeah.
Hello, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here and for guiding us through your wisdom in this meditation. My question is similar. When we are in a world with so much disruption, so much chaos and violence, how can, once one has gained some mastery over the self and our own sense of belonging and happiness and peace, what do you think is the most effective way to then extend that to others?
First of all, know that you are very important at this time. When people don't even recognize they are in chaos. Those who recognize there is chaos and we have to do something about it are few, and they have very, very important role to play. I would say it's like the doctor who walks into a camp where people are sick, right? And they don't run away. Doctors never run away because they think, oh, everybody is sick. So we have a job to do here, right? So we need to bring more sense to people where they have no sense. Bring more patience to people where they are restless and ruthless, and more, calmness to those who are agitated. So it may be unsurmountable. It may appear to be a huge task, but we must hold on, say, okay, we'll do whatever we can in our capacity. Yeah.
Over there. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev, thank you for being here. I'm a student at the business school. My question is similar. If we are all at our core a source of joy, happiness, why does suffering manifest in this world? Why do we even exist if we could have chosen to be kind of a more happy, sentient consciousness?
Well, do you watch movies?
Yeah,
What type of movie do you watch?
mostly rom-coms.
The movie, just imagine a movie there is no thrill, there is no villain, nothing is happening, just everything is very smooth, people are happy, eating and sleeping. Would you enjoy that movie? No. You won't grade it, right?
Right.
So life has, some masala, we call it masala in India, some spice in it. So like that, take things as a spice in life. Enjoy them. I would see, when you start resisting, when you idealize, this is how things should be, that's when, you become more miserable. Just take things as they are, and that's it. And see what you can do to improve, because it is in your instinct to improve. See, nobody has to put a thought to do something good to you, because goodness is inherent in you. Only negativity is just, it's an outer mass that need to be cleared. Intrinsically, every human being is good, if you see through my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I think we have time for one more. Yes. So back to the first mic.
Thank you so much, Gurudev. It's been an honor to spend time with you. And echoing on what some others have mentioned, this country is in a particularly challenging time period. And I'm interested in your commentary on how the energy of our collective efforts as meditators and conscious beings can help contribute to the greater good.
You know, when we had the World Culture Festival right outside the National Mall, in the National Mall, right outside the Capitol Hill, there was all this noise the government was going to shut down. And we all did meditation there 3 days. And they said 99% it is sure the government is going to shut down. And the press was asking me, so what is your alternative? You can't have it here on Saturday. What's your alternative plan for it? He just smiled and said, things will work out for us. The government did not shut down. And the person who signed it. So what I'm saying, this is the collective consciousness has an impact on individual psyche. Now when the country is going through a tough time, this is the time for people to wake up and take active participation in their duties and responsibilities. You know, when things are happening smooth, there is a layback. You know, how many percentage of people in this country go really vote is very, very small when compared to many democracies. I think this situation is a call for people to exercise their franchise and take more responsibility, collective responsibility for the country as a whole. I hope it's clear.
Well, that seems like a very fitting place to end. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody.